right. Good evening, everybody. I'd like to welcome everyone to this beautiful event today. It's our first webinar in 316 Academy. And my name is Gloria Roxon. I'm the Administrative Director for this Academy. We're going to be doing a whole lot today in the space of 1 hour, 30 minutes. We have our speakers very much ready. We have Mr. Mbakwe, and we have Mr. Femi Olumide, all ready for this event. And we have our team very much around us, ready for this. So we perhaps just give people just few minutes to come in so that we can kickstart. We don't intend to waste your time today. We hope that we'll be able to achieve all that we need to achieve. And please note that this particular presentation is being recorded, so for future use. And I would say that as many as are available, we will employ everyone to hold on to the end. If you're just coming in to join us today, you'll stay till the end and you'll get a wonderful surprise from us, Leadership and Management Academy. Right now, I would just make that few announcements again. If you want to be part of those collecting the certificate of attendance, you have to wait till the end of this webinar. That's the only time we can know that you are serious about getting the certificate from us. And the certificate is actually free, totally free. You're not paying anything for it. That's a beautiful thing about this particular academy. We do this to encourage you. We do this to make you feel comfortable and know that we care about your growth. All right, and there's another announcement I'd like to do before I call in our first speaker. I see that Mr. Olufemi Olumide is in the house. Okay, so I'm going to be introducing him briefly. He's going to be our first speaker, and then Ron is our next speaker. So I'll get him in, but before then, I'd like to announce that the Academy has a discount, price for everyone that is going to take advantage of this opportunity that is made open for every participant. If you're going to be able to register, which we pray and we believe that you should be, because this is exactly what the aim of this webinar is, to get you fed and then get you equipped to be able to run programs that will help you to, be more established. So in the Academy, we have discounts, and it's a very beautiful discount. And a very simple thing that you need to do is to register into 316 Leadership and Management Academy, and then you have just 2 weeks from today. If you register between 2 weeks from today, you stand a chance of enjoying 50% discount on the tuition. 50% discount on the tuition. Very, very mouth-watering, discount and beautiful, gift for you. If you register into our academy, every information you will need are all in the website of this academy. So if you register between today and the 3rd of November, 3rd day of November, that's 2 weeks from today, you stand a chance of enjoying discount, 50% discount on tuition fee for you, just for you. That's a beautiful one, and I'm sure you should be jubilating. So the next thing you want to do is to find out how much. So you have to go to the website, get all that information that you need, sit down, read through everything, and get it all, consumed. Right at this moment, I'm so sure that we are very much ready for this event. And I'm going to be introducing, I noticed that, was it a network connection? I noticed that Mr. Olufemi Olumide, I was about introducing him now, but I noticed that he's out right now. So since Mr. Ron is around right now, Ron Mbakwe, we're going to be calling him on to take the first training, first speaking on investment management. And I'm very sure he's ready. His profile is very much open for us, but I'll just read up a little. And Mr. Ron, I'm sure you're getting ready for this. So Mr. Ron Mbakwe is a chartered financial planner and a fellow of the Personal Finance Society. His basic job is to help clients identify their financial goals and provide advice on relevant investments, pensions, or insurance. And if you check his profile there, you can read a lot more about him. I'm quite excited about this particular training because I know that at the end of the day, we are all going to learn and benefit so much from him. All right, Mr. Ron, over to you right now. You can still introduce yourself a little bit if I didn't say much, and then take the floor. The floor is open for you. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, Gloria. That was a wonderful introduction. I don't know how I can top that. What else could I say? No, thank you so much for that. As you said, I'm a chartered financial planner. I'm based in the UK, so I've been to Nigeria a couple of times. I try to go every couple of years, but I'm born and raised in London. So I think a bit about me. Why do I do what I do? I guess it's because I really like helping people simply, and I like working with numbers. I like working with money, and that's what put me into financial advice. A major part of me is my faith. I'm a Christian, so I try to put that in everything I do. So even with helping people and advising people, that's a major part of what I do. And so yeah, with the stuff we'll be talking about today, I'm conscious that there'll be a UK bias to things because I mean that's where I'm based. But I'm sure that a lot of the principles I'll be talking about will apply universally. But if you've got any questions about it, you can ask me at the end, and I'll try to explain how it can apply to you. So when thinking about what to speak to you guys about on such a broad topic, I thought let me go general about the main piece of advice I'd give people generally, and then we can go from there. So I know it's a very investment heavy talk we're going to do, but I'll touch a little bit about investments. I'll talk about how people should manage their finances in general and the sort of advice I give to people. So I mean, one of the first places I start when giving advice to people is to establish a budget, because a lot of people, they have money, it goes in one hand, out the other hand, they don't know what's going on at all. Before you can start investing or thinking about how you want to be financially secure, you need to establish a budget. So that means, first of all, do you know how much you've got coming in and when? So make sure you've got a clear idea of what your income is, how regular it is, how much it is, and then once you've got that, you need to establish your outgoings. So what are your expenses? What is the regular expenses? What will be the big one-off expenses? Is there something you're planning to do in the future? What can you plan? So once you've got a comparison of these two, you can start making plans for what comes next. So hopefully your income is more than your outgoings, but as can be the case, sometimes people's outgoings is more than their income, and so that's where when you see something like that, you can start making adjustments. So that's why I said the main thing you need to do is establish a budget. So for people who are quite new to budgeting and they're not sure what their budget should be, for example, there's something called the 50-30-20 rule. So this is how ideally you should be dividing your money. So if you have £1,000 a month coming in, I'd say 50% needs to go to your essentials. So this is paying your mortgage or your rent, paying your bills, all the essentials. At 50% should be covering that. So 30% should be going towards the things you do for fun. So it could be going on trips, going out, going to cinema. So the things you do for leisure, and 20% you should be using towards saving and investing, or at least paying off debt. So if you've got an existing budget now, see how does it compare to that 50-30-20. What you'll find if it's not going well is that, for example, you've got too much in your fund money, in the 30% is like 40%, you're not saving enough, your essentials aren't right. So look at it and see what you can do to make sure it's aligned. And as you can see, there's that 20% to make sure that you're saving regularly. I'll touch on the importance of that later. So the 50 is for the essentials, 30% is for what you'd like to do, and 20% is for the saving that you'll do. So the 50, 30, 20 rule. That's the first part, establishing a budget. The second important thing I'd say is getting debt free. Debt is a major killer in the world today. And before you can do anything, you need to do whatever you can to remove yourself from debt. So I brought up some statistics for the UK, and in the UK right now, average household debt is £60,000, £60,000 in each household on average. And that is a big problem for people because it brings stress, it brings worries, it brings depression, anxiety. So breaking free of this is an essential if you want to move forward. So once again, it goes back to that establishing a budget. Where is my money going? Why am I being in debt? How can I stop adding more debt? And then what can I do to address it? So a simple method that has been brought up to address debt is called the debt snowball method. There's a great financial guru called Dave Ramsey. He's an American guy. He's also a Christian, and he helps a lot of this, and he established the debt snowball. So imagine somebody sitting in debt. They've got about 6-7 bunches of bills, loans, cards. They don't know where to start, and they want to bury their head in the sand. What you should do really is you should start with the smallest one first. So that might seem counterintuitive. You might want to start with the biggest one or the one with the highest interest rate. But what they've shown is that when you start with the smallest one first, and you, for example, using pounds, let's say you've got various cards and all that, and you've got one that's like £500, you've got one that's 1,000, you've got one that's 2,000. You might be tempted to start throwing all your money at the £2,000 one, but they said no, start with the smallest one first. So that £500. So if you've established your budget to start paying away at that, you pay maybe £50 a month or £100 a month. After 5 months, that card is paid off, and that feeling of yes, I've paid off this debt, that is a good feeling. So that means one, you've knocked off one card, and on top of that, that £100 that you're using to pay off that first card, you can add it towards paying the second card as well. So by doing that little by little, you can free yourself from debt. So that's the debt snowball method. So as I said, the important thing is you start with the smallest debt first. You repay that. Once that's cleared, you go to the next largest, and you use the money you were repaying that smaller one into the next one, into the next one, into the next one. Eventually, you're debt free. So the main thing is just to start and to get into the process of paying off that debt. So, okay, we've established the budget. We're working towards getting debt free. We've become debt free. The next stage is to build a savings plan. So now, because we don't want to be in debt anymore, we want to build a savings plan and get into the habit of saving regularly. I heard a great example that if you get your salary, you get your £1,000 a month, and then you people line up to receive your money. So the person, your car payment takes your money, your food takes your money, your electricity, all these people take, and right at the end is yourself. You're waiting, okay, whatever's left, that's what I'll take. It shouldn't be like that. You need to pay yourself first. It's that gives all this information in more detail. It's 10 Talents Financial Stewardship, and so you can find more information here. I don't think I've got any illustrations, but I'll share the link with you at the end. But everything I'm saying is here. So as I said, build a savings plan. All these people get paid. At the end of the day, you get paid last. It shouldn't be that way. You should set aside money to pay yourself first, to put a regular amount that you're saving every month first. And as I said, based on our 50, 30, 20 rule, ideally it will be about 20% a month that you're saving each month. But as a minimum, try and save 10% of your income each month, and save it first. Don't spend all your money, and if there's a little bit left, then you save it. No, it should be the other way. Save that amount first so that it can't be touched. And once that's done, then you can move on to paying for other stuff as well. So yeah, so once the key way of doing that is to establish an emergency fund. So rather than getting into debt again, you need to establish an emergency fund which needs to equal 3 months of expenses. So whatever your expenses are for whatever your expenses are for a month, you times that by 3. So for example, if you know your expenses are £1,000 a month, that means you need an emergency account of £3,000. What that means is if you lost your job or something happened, you could live for 3 months while you search for a job or search for another form of income. Because what you don't want is that if something happened to you, you'd have nowhere to go. So it's very, very important to have that emergency fund that you can go straight into if something goes wrong and that you don't touch. So once you've established that emergency fund, the next stage is to build a fund for short-term or medium-term savings. So this could be saving up for a house deposit or saving or buying a new car. The world today tells you should borrow money to get these things. No, you should, once you've saved up your emergency funds, for example, we have our £3,000 emergency fund, the rest of your money you're saving, this should be going into a short-term, medium-term fund for these things. And so when I say short to medium term, that's between 1 and 3 years. So any money that you know you'll need in the next 1 to 3 years, you shouldn't be investing that long term, which you're going to. You should be leaving that in cash so that you know it's in the bank, you can get to it easily. So that is the next stage. So we've established the budget, step 1. We're debt free, step 2. We've built a saving plan, step 3. Now we get to stage 4. We're waiting for. We start investing regularly. This is what we wanted to hear. So the key to investing is that you should start as early as possible and be consistent. Because with investing, there is a lot of noise in the world, and it can be scary, it can be worrying, what funds going up and down. The main thing is that picking the right sort of fund, which we'll get to, but starting early. The main thing that we're investing is time. It's not about the investment return or interest rate, is time, because the longer time you have to invest, you benefit from compound interest. So what that means is that the money you invested, it earns interest, and as it grows, that original money earns interest, and then that interest earns interest, and that continues over and over and over. So the longer amount of time you have to do that is good news. So that's why you want to start as soon as you got the budget, you're out of debt, you build savings, you want to be investing as regularly as possible. So why I keep emphasizing those previous steps, because somebody might think, I want to invest right now, let me put my money straight into this thing I want to invest in. The problem is that when something goes wrong and you need to take that money out, how are you going to take that money out of the investment? It might not be possible, it might not be liquid, or worse still, you might have to sell at a loss, because with investments, you need to be looking for the long term, so 5, 10, 15 years. So if you've poured your money into this investment and 1 year later you decide you need the money to do something, the market could be down, so you could actually get less than you originally put in. So which is why it's important to go through the steps I described first, so that even if your investment goes down temporarily, you don't need to take from it, you can wait for it to recover. So when I say investing, I mean investing in stocks and shares. And I know that probably you'll cover all sorts of investment in this course. It could be investing in a business or investing in all sorts of things, but I mean stocks and shares. And by that, I mean investing in companies. So to make it really, really simple, everybody has an iPhone, etc. So you could say, I want to invest in Apple. I like Apple as a company. Let me invest my £100 into Apple. So as Apple does well, if Apple goes up 10% in value, that means your share of Apple has gone up 10%. And so that is basically investing. It's you buying a piece of a company and hoping that company goes up and your value goes up. So where it gets interesting is that you really shouldn't be investing in just one company, because if Apple crashes, if you put all your money into Apple and Apple crashes today, then you've lost all your money. This is where something called diversification comes in. So you need to spread your money across different companies. So that means if you spread it across 10, 20 companies, the likelihood is not all of them going to crash. So it could be 15 do really well, 3 stay the same, 2 crash. At least that way your money's spread out. It's gone up a little bit's gone down, but at least the risk has been spread, as opposed to if you put in one company and it all collapsed. So that's why we say it's good to diversify and spread your risk across companies. And that's what I would help somebody to do in the UK, or that's what an investment manager might do. They would take your money and spread it and invest it in a way they feel is appropriate according to how much risk you're comfortable with. So obviously some people might still be thinking investing is risky. Why should I invest? not investing is risky. As in not investment, I know some of you, we're all affected by inflation, but I know some of you in Nigeria will see that the cost of things keeps going up. What was, I don't know, 500 naira one day might be 600, 700 as time goes up. Well, that is called inflation. That is the cost of living increasing. So currently, if you, as I said, you need to have some cash, you need to save money in a bank account, but that money that stays in the bank account, it doesn't earn much interest. So it might be 0.5%, 1% each year. But if the cost of living is going up 10% each year, that means your money is losing real value. But if you're investing, your money is likely to keep up with that cost of inflation and exceed it in the future. So even though investing is risky in the short term, in the longer term, it's the best bet to try and make sure your money stays ahead of inflation. So not investing at all is definitely a risk. So my favorite, number 5, as I said, I'm a Christian. So one of the core beliefs, I think, is you need to pay your tithe. You need to pay your tithe if you're a Christian, because if you don't, I'm pretty sure it has a way of just disappearing. It has a way of disappearing your money. That I believe you need to honor God first with what the first 10% of your money, to make sure that everything else works well. I mean, if you have 100%, £100, it's not that much to give the first £10, because if you do that, if you're faithful, the first 10, the 90 will be blessed. If you try to hold it all, then I don't think it's a good thing. So I have that as a major thing to be aware of. Number 6 is give generously. So obviously the last two are like, what does this have to do with saving and investing? I think it is really important principle of somebody who's going to be successful, somebody who's going to thrive, that you're somebody who gives generously. I don't think you can be truly a rich person if you don't know how to give, because there is blessing in giving, and by giving it makes you see money for what it is. It makes you see money as a tool. People wrongly say that money is the root of all evil, so they misquote that, but money is not the root. Money can be good, bad, average. Love of money is the root of all evil. So if you're so stingy that you love the money too much, you can't give away, that's not good. But if you're free in giving, if you're free to help other people, to think outside yourself, it's a good thing. I wrote an article about giving the other day, and I compared it to, if you go to Israel, you've got lots of rivers and seas, but I compared two rivers. You've got the River Jordan and you've got the Dead Sea. So we know the River Jordan was one of the major rivers in Israel. It is now. It's the river Jesus was baptized in, and it's a thriving river because water comes into it from another river and it flows and it goes out to other river. If you look at the Dead Sea is, as it says, dead. There's no life in it. There's nothing happening at all. The reason that is because water just comes all into the Dead Sea and it sits there. It's dead. It's got nowhere to come. It's full of salt. There's no life in it at all. And I think that's a good analogy to what it's like if you are receiving resources, you're being blessed, you're working hard, and you're just keeping it with you. You need to be able to receive and give as well to thrive. Because if you hoard, it's not a good look at all. So. That's just a quick whistle-stop tour of my 6 key things I'd say as a financial advisor, and also as a Christian, that you need to be doing if you want to have financial success. Obviously, we can go into more detail in these areas, but I wanted to give you a quick rundown. So to go through them again, establish a budget, know your income and your outgoings. Try to establish a 50-30-20 rule. So 50% covering your needs, 30% covering your wants, and 20% into your savings. Number 2, get debt free. Do whatever you can to get out of debt. Use the debt snowball method. So this means that you attack the smallest debt first, you pay it off, and once that smallest debt is gone, use that money to pay off the next one, and then use that combined money and keep doing that until the debt gets cleared. Number 3, build a savings plan. Make sure you pay yourself first. So if it's 10% or 20%, you're saving regularly, you're paying into your main bank account, do that. Once you've done that, make sure you're saving for short-term goals. So for example, to buy a car, to go on holiday, to build a house deposit, save this money in cash. Once those first 3 are covered, start investing regularly, start early as possible. So find a way where you can invest in companies, invest in funds that allow your money to grow ahead of inflation. And also take a long-term view. Don't avoid get rich quick. Don't do get rich quick at all. Try to invest with a long-term 5 to 10 years in mind. Number 5, pay your tithes. First 10% of it belongs to God. And number 6, please give generously. It really, really does make a difference. Yeah, that is all I had for you today. So I hope that's been useful for you guys.